back, everyone. We are joined this evening by Chief Investment Advisor for Guidance Point, Ben Smith. Ben, thank you for joining us once again.
Glad to be here.
Well, it's not exactly the most wonderful time of year, but it is certainly an important time of year and one that you can't avoid. It's
right.
tax season.
It's tax season.
It is indeed. So first, always wanting to clarify deadlines. What do folks need to know about deadlines this year?
Yeah, so I think everyone has it in their head. April 15th is always the deadline.
Yes.
Sometimes Patriots Day kind of slips in, and that gets us another couple days this year. So April 17th is the deadline this year for Massachusetts and Maine, which we're happy to be part of.
Alrighty, well that's definitely important to note. And in terms of just filing an extension, if folks are procrastinators, which does happen,
yep, it
what
does
do they
happen.
need to know?
Yeah, so I think you got to know that there's an extension that you need to file. So Form 4868 is the extension form for the IRS. Obviously, you have to do the same for the state of Maine. Know that if you file an extension, doesn't mean that you get to extend the payment of taxes. You're still going to have to file the extension with a payment estimate of taxes.
Okay. All right. So you talk about tips to make sure your return is accepted if you're going up right against a deadline. So this is what, streamlining the process or just ensuring accuracy so that if you're playing chicken with the deadline, you need to make sure your stuff is on point.
Exactly, because if you're like me and you got a deadline and you have 30 seconds to get something done, you're going to rush to get it done.
Right.
That's when mistakes happen, right? So making sure accuracy is really important as part of that accuracy check. One way to kind of speed things up, obviously we talked mail a little bit in a segment ago, but e-filing is another way we can kind of speed things up to kind of get things kind of going there.
That's definitely an opportunity that folks should look for, because I know, I can't imagine relying on snail mail to mail in something as important as your taxes.
Well, and if you're going to do snail mail, which a lot of us do.
Which is perfectly fine.
Right, yes. But make sure when you take it to don't just drop it in the mail slot somewhere, go into the post office, get a receipt, right? Because if you were filing it close to that April 17th deadline, get the receipt to prove that you mailed it on that day.
That's
really important.
That's important. If you do encounter an issue, you can at least point to that receipt and say, oh, nope, I crossed my T's and dotted my I's. It wasn't me.
That's right. I have proof.
Yes.
So
the it wasn't me argument.
And I would also say, some people when they're hurrying, make sure to sign your tax return, right? So signing it, because if you're writing that check, you kind of hand to people sometimes and you don't sign the check, it doesn't happen.
Right.
That's another way you can delay things.
All right. So let's hope that folks are lucky and a return is coming.
Yep.
Okay. That's money that you didn't expect to have or just didn't know how much you would have. So kind of some good things to maybe think about doing with that money from an investor standpoint.
Yeah. So I think one thing is interest rates have gone up quite a bit, right? So credit cards, debt, mortgages, things like that are much more expensive than they have been in some time.
Yeah.
So maybe taking some of that refund and just retiring some of the debt, right, is kind of lowering that kind of pressure on us a little bit. So that'd be number one. I think number two is a lot of us don't have emergency savings. We don't have more than $1,000 saved. Right. If we do, maybe we don't have 3 to 6 months of emergency savings to pay for our bills for 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, that's even more challenging today than it used to be.
Huge.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe I know it's challenging to go, hey, put this away, don't touch it. If I can do that, I'm going to be much better off if something bad happens in my financial life.
All right. Yeah, definitely important things to keep in mind for sure. Well, thank you so much for your time. This is always an important and timely discussion to have, so we appreciate you being here for us. All righty, folks. Well, stay with us, folks. We have our full, updated, and extended forecast coming your way.